a little bit nicer weather for the media section of the open practice yesterday down in Nebraska.
Yeah, look crisp.
In Lincoln.
The weather, anyway.
lot of under 1 minute videos of Dylan Raiola throwing the football that people are losing their minds about, myself included.
Yeah, so I think at some point, the balance of that will be very, very interesting, even amongst the staff.
In what? Okay, elaborate, please.
Well, I mean,
the balance of the
because
attention,
they'll
or
have to. There's like this point where staff will understand, like, okay, it is what it is, right? I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Highly touted recruit. I get the intrigue. But much like I talk about with being a gatekeeper for the sport,
mm-hmm.
and I'm not supposed to. Was that Joel that told me I'm not supposed to?
Yeah, Joel told you don't do that.
I think they'll
need to
internally. Sometimes you're like, hey man, it's about the team. It's gonna be we're OOU, you know, but you have to let that play out because this is kind of like the natural progression of what's going to happen in the media.
So let me ask this: how much does the way the media consumes what's going on with the team affect the dynamics of the team? Because
it depends on the team.
Because let's give an example, right? Let's say, and I don't know, but let's say Dylan is a great teammate, that he doesn't feed into any of this, doesn't ask for any of this. I think part of your issue that you had with Casey is that some of the antics kind of leaned into the media attention, right?
Yeah.
Right. So far, we haven't seen that from Dylan.
And you won't.
Dylan just seems to try to go do his business, go work, try and be better.
You won't.
Supports his teammates.
He will not encourage you.
Goes out to different events, but us as media are still going to seek him out.
And that's okay. That's, like I said, that's part of it.
So let's say in that scenario, how much does that affect the team internally? Because it's not Dylan's fault.
I don't think this particular case, I don't think at all.
Okay.
But I do think
now, is that because of Dylan? Is that because of the situation, or is it because of rule?
It takes both. That's a great point. It takes the person that's getting all the accolades. A lot of it is based on how they handle it and what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And then obviously the leadership. I don't think Casey, the storylines that came with their team, I don't think the team really minded.
I don't either.
I don't. I think it changed the problem I have with that is it changed the media coverage.
It did.
Once it got outside the Big Ten.
Yeah, it got to a certain point where,
and that's what I was talking about. It's not the individual.
Right.
It just it changed the dynamics of what the team was about. And again, like I said, and I've said before about various things that I'm particular about, it doesn't make me right. It probably just makes me weird. I'm a big
print the shirts.
That's just what I gravitate towards.
Yeah, your perception of the situation is important to you.
And like I just know how easily it can get away from you. Like you have to work really hard, and your culture has to be really strong
to withstand stuff like
this. Right? You could go back to like really good high school teams. It's always about this guy. I mean, Frankie and Chucky had to have like a unique understanding. Chucky got a lot of the headlines. Frankie was still going for 18 a night. Right?
Yeah.
William Kyle was still rim running.
And they weren't going to win the way they did without the other two guys.
Right.
Right.
So, Jason Green, Miller North. Right.
Hunter, Saint,
kind of
even Jaden
had to wait kind of his turn. Still really good, really important. So you have to be able to.
And then won another state title after all those guys were gone.
Yeah, you have to. Last year, Westside, right? Like, gonna hear a lot about a lot of guys, but you can't get everybody.
A lot of Anthony Rizak, a lot of Caleb Betting, a lot of Christian Jones.
Like if you're Bo Ryan,
but
even Christian probably didn't get the attention he could have.
Yeah,
or should have.
Yeah,
But
it was a lot of Rizaks, a lot of Caleb. But you had Bo Ryan, you had Eckhart, you had
a bunch. JQ. We had. I mean, just
Hurtado,
Jordan Hurst,
your running back.
Oh yeah, Jamez.
That's
a good example.
Really good player. Really, really important to what you did.
That's probably the best example
because it didn't get a lot of attention.
Well, he changed the way we could play offense because we could run the ball.
Yeah, 100%.
It didn't have to be QB run game.
You guys handed the ball off to Jamez a lot.
So what I'm
a lot.
So my point in saying that is, it's not just about having dudes. Like you have to be able to withstand what happens if a game or two goes and X guy doesn't get the ball, or X guy doesn't get his rushing yards, or X guy doesn't get his shots off, right? So there's going to come some times where players will be made available to the press, and the culture in your team will define how people handle it when they take the podium, right? Because there's this certain level of understanding, like some guys just get the headlines.
Let me ask you this. I know we talk about guys fulfilling their roles a lot in terms of on the field play. How important is it for guys to fulfill their roles in terms of, like, some guys deal with the media better than others. Some guys deal with being the center of attention better than others. Like, how important
like
is
it
that
was,
part
it was purposeful that Banks was the first guy they rolled out.
Yeah. You know, like how much does that matter in the sense of, hey, you have to play your role. Some guys' role is
my line, right?
Be really good and not say a word.
You know my line, right?
What's that?
Sometimes you have to be a good follower.
Yeah.
Not everybody can be a leader.
Well, what did I say last week? If you're a leader without followers, you're just a guy on a walk.
And good teams have good followers.
Yeah.
If you have good leadership. So that'll reveal itself.
Yeah.
You know, but I think early on out of the gates, especially with this team with so many questions, right, in the backfield, you know, he said, hey, it's a big year for him. This is a big spring for him. He didn't say that
on accident,
casually.
No.
Right? Or, you know, what he said about Nash. You know, not wanting to take any days off. Those things are intentional because whatever it is, you want that to be a part of, right?
Yeah.
And I was cool with just about everything except for
a couple things.
Yeah. I'm I'm honest. The Bellevue West thing bugged me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, fudge, I know that offense. Gee, many Christmas. Nah, actually,
you're not kidding.
Isn't it weird though? Because I know what he was. I know what that's about, right? Yeah. You support coaches.
Support coaches.
You want high school. You want high school relationships. You want to build confidence. But I'm not. I swallowed my tongue. I'm like, you're good.
I think we're gonna hear a lot more about Daniel Kaelin than people anticipate.
Just to offset, yeah, but
just
we're smart.
To balance.
That's scary. You gotta be careful with that because you can't feed us what we think we already know.
You can't force feed it, but he's gonna talk about him more than you think he will.
Well, maybe DK may ball out though.
He might. Maybe he's better than we think he is. I don't know.
He may ball out.
Matt DeMarinis coming up next on Hurrdat Sports Radio.